Are you pregnant and worried that your lifting routine might harm you or your baby? Or maybe you're just curious about whether you should continue lifting while pregnant? Well, hold on to your waist because I have some great news that might put your mind at ease. This video will reveal the latest research on heavy lifting during pregnancy that will change how you view exercise forever. Get ready to have your beliefs challenged and your mind blown because this is one video you do not want to miss. So without further ado, my name is Jeremy Colon, and this is The Dark Side of Fitness, episode 60. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome to my channel. We're focused on transforming your body from the inside out. Suppose you were ready to take your fitness journey to that next level. Like this video, subscribe to my channel for more whole body transformation content. There are a lot of myths out there about exercise during pregnancy. For instance, that advice you should only do the workouts you were doing before pregnancy, it's not quite right. You can absolutely start a new workout routine when you're pregnant as long as you have the go-ahead from your doctor. You can even start lifting weights for the first time during pregnancy if you want, again, unless your doctor says otherwise. Of course, some things we don't know much about. One such instruction: don't lift anything heavy. It's well-meaning advice intended to keep mother and baby safe, but what if you trained for years lifting heavy stuff? And what if it's the best part of your day? For dedicated athletes, the idea of stopping their training as soon as they see 2 lines on a pregnancy test is a colossal bummer. The problem, though, is that there's not a lot of research on what happens when pregnant people lift heavy. As a result, most of the recommendations around exercise and pregnancy are based on conservative expert opinion rather than actual data. That makes sense though. When you don't know about the safety of an activity, you will err on the side of caution. So, to help fill our knowledge gaps, a group of scientists recently surveyed people who lifted heavy during their pregnancies. Let's take a look at the findings. How the study worked. The researchers recruited 679 people who regularly lifted more than 80% of their 1 rep max on any lift during pregnancy. They had them fill out a 16-item questionnaire about their pregnancy, birth, exercise routine, and postpartum experience. Before we jump into the results, it's worth noting that this isn't the most robust study design. The participants were recruited online and through the researchers' network, not exactly random sampling. Plus, their answers were self-reported. That is, they weren't tracked with devices or observed by the researchers. Instead, the participants simply told the scientists what they did and how they felt. And lastly, because the survey only looked at people who were essentially high-level athletes, it makes sense that they'd probably be fitter than the general population. So regardless of the outcome, the findings aren't necessarily broadly applicable. So why the nervousness about lifting during pregnancy? Past research has shown that occupational lifting, which tends to be highly repetitive over many hours without time for recovery, is associated with a higher risk of pregnancy complications like miscarriage, preeclampsia, and preterm delivery. This led to the conclusion probably not a great idea for pregnant people to lift heavy stuff, but the study authors explained that recreational lifting is different from the occupational kind. For starters, it's usually less than an hour long and provides plenty of time for recovery. However, the recreational heavy lifting hasn't been researched much in pregnant people, so that's one of the reasons why the researchers wanted to look into it. Plus, there's some other concerns about lifting during pregnancy. Olympic lifts like snatches and jerks aren't usually recommended in pregnancy due to the risk of contact injury, but it hasn't been established how common that is, especially among experienced lifters who aren't usually throwing around barbells recklessly. Female heavy lifters tend to have higher rates of urinary incontinence, which is also common in pregnancy. However, some worry that heavy lifting during pregnancy could worsen this condition. We don't know the effects of the Valsalva maneuver, which involves breath holding, on babies in utero, so it's advised against. Some think it might also have a negative effect on the pelvic floor during pregnancy. For decades, we thought lying on your back to exercise, aka supine exercise, past 16 weeks pregnant was a big no-no. That excluded exercises like the bench press, but the evidence on this is murky. Considering the lack of evidence for or against keeping up with a heavy weightlifting habit during pregnancy, it's easy to see why these researchers wanted to start gathering more information on it. And luckily, as weightlifting gets more popular, there'll be even more demand for this type of research. What the study found: the experienced weightlifters in the survey group had fewer pregnancy complications than the general population. That includes things like high blood pressure, preeclampsia, and gestational diabetes. Performing Olympic lifting, the Valsalva maneuver, and supine exercise also did increase pregnancy or birth complications. So according to their feedback, these were relatively safe activities for this group. Interestingly, participants who kept up with their pre-pregnancy training levels for their whole pregnancy experienced significantly fewer pregnancy and birth complications than those who reduced their training before birth. The people who reduced their training might have done so because of complications. So this is a bit of a chicken and egg type situation. In terms of postpartum outcomes, 89% of the participants returned to weightlifting about 3 months after birth. The ones who didn't cite needing additional time to recover and not having enough time to get back at it. Postpartum urinary incontinence was more common in this group than in the general population, 57% versus 32%. The researchers say that's because urinary incontinence rates are higher in women participating in high impact resistance training outside of pregnancy. Rates of postpartum depression and anxiety among participants were remarkably lower than the general population, 7% versus 14%. Let me tell you this, if you're serious about your fitness goals, this information is for you. Whether you're pregnant or not, I'm about to share some insider secrets about lifting that will help you maximize your workouts and help you achieve the desired results you want, even if you have a baby on the way. So sit tight and prepare for some eye-opening advice that could change the game for you forever. Here are some expert coaching takeaways. Number 1, traditional ideas about lifting during pregnancy might not be valid. It's early on and some research needs to be done, but this study does challenge the idea that Olympic lifting, the Valsalva maneuver, supine lifting, and heavy lifting in general are unsafe during pregnancy. This is particularly true for experienced lifters who were doing these activities before they got pregnant. That doesn't mean you should go ahead and do the Valsalva maneuver just yet, but staying active during pregnancy is highly recommended by bodies like American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. For some people, that may mean safely keeping up with their weightlifting routine during pregnancy. Number 2, having a healthcare provider's buy-in is critical. Most of the participants in the study had the go-ahead from their doctor or healthcare provider before continuing their lifting. That means both the pregnant person and their provider were confident that they had no issues with exercising during pregnancy. It can't be overstated how important this is. If someone is going to continue lifting during pregnancy, everyone involved should feel as secure as possible that they can do so while keeping themselves and their baby safe. Number 3, it's encouraged for lifters to see a pelvic health physiotherapist. The researchers noted that about half the participants saw a pelvic physiotherapist during or after pregnancy. The type of pelvic floor training they provided has been shown to decrease the risk of urinary incontinence, and heavy weightlifters may benefit from seeing one. As we conclude, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Your support means the world to me, and it's the reason why I continue to make valuable content like this. If you want to continue to see content like this, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on fantastic expert tips. Thank you again. Until next time, see you in the next video.